YouTube, what it do? It's your boy TWV checking in for the Friday Night Smackdown recap and review. This Friday Night Smackdown was in the O2 Arena in London, and it was a pretty decent show. Basically like Raw, a lot of storyline progressing and advancing while we ramp up to go into April and really kick it into gear these final 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So out of five, the show was like a three. It was cool. It was maybe four matches, and one match ended in a disqualification. So it was really like three matches. Nothing too spectacular. More so a segment heavy show. It was six matches. One match ended by disqualification, so it was really five. A lot more segments than matches. This show, I think, had as a total 14 segments, and five of them were matches. So, yeah, more segments than matches. But like I said, this is a storyline advancing episode. So, with that being said, let's get into the review. So to kick off the show, undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes addressed his upcoming WrestleMania 41 match against John Cena. Rhodes acknowledged the significance of facing Cena, who is aiming to secure his record-breaking 17th world title. He informed the London audience that he would confront Cena face-to-face in that same arena on this upcoming Monday Night Raw. The segment took an unexpected turn when Randy Orton's music hit, leading to a heartfelt exchange between the two former Legacy stablemates. Orton praised Rhodes for his journey, highlighting the courage it took Rhodes to lead WWE, evolve, and return to achieve success. He commended Rhodes for changing the wrestling industry and expressed pride in his accomplishment. Orton also hinted at his own ambition, stating that after dealing with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, he would pursue his 15th world title, directly challenging Rhodes. The atmosphere further intensified when Drew McIntyre interrupted the exchange. McIntyre questioned Orton's entitlement to a title shot, asserting that he should be next in line. Tensions then escalated as Orton attempted an RKO on McIntyre, who managed to evade the move. So this was a beautiful opening segment. It did add additional storylines post WrestleMania, which I do like. They're playing the long game. So I'm under the assumption Cena does lose, because this is my theory. If you have been watching the SmackDowns and the Raws week to week since post Elimination Chamber, I do think Cena does not win until SummerSlam. SummerSlam is about to become 2 nights this year in August. So what better place to put a stamp on SummerSlam as basically the WrestleMania of the summer, with something generational happening where John Cena breaks Ric Flair's record as a 16-time world champion and becomes a 17-time world champion. So that's where I'm playing that flag. I do like that they are building to probably Cody or in post-Mania. I guess somewhere between Backlash, the Money in the Bank, somewhere in between that timeline. Because Orton deserves another world title shot. He had one against Gunther last year because of the King of the Ring. But I do, before Randy hangs it up, I would like to see him win 15 as well. But I don't think he gets to 16. So everybody's gonna be behind Cena at the end of the day, which is cool because John Cena is the GOAT and is the greatest of all time. I did like Drew coming out here because Drew does, in my opinion, deserve a title shot as well. He's low-key been carrying the company on his back with just him being able to just make anything he does work. All of his storylines do make sense, though. Circling back to why people on the internet was hating the Priest thing, it does make sense. Him and Priest have been beefing indirectly since last year at WrestleMania when Priest cashed in on him when CM Punk knocked him off the announce desk for teasing him with the title. But with that being said, this was a great opening segment. Let's get to the next one. The next in-ring action was the Street Profits defending their WWE Tag Team Championships against Pretty Deadly. The match was particularly significant as it marked Pretty Deadly's challenge for the titles in their home country of England. From the onset, the London crowd was firmly behind Pretty Deadly, cheering enthusiastically for their fellow countrymen. The challengers capitalized on the support, delivering a performance that showcased their synergy and technical prowess. One of the match's pivotal moments occurred when Montez Ford executed a frog splash on the Elton Prince. Kit Wilson demonstrated keen awareness, nearly secured a victory with a surprise roll-up on Ford, eliciting gasps from the audience. Another highlight saw Pretty Deadly executing their signature spilt milk maneuver on Angelo Dawkins, a move that had previously secured them numerous victories. However, Ford's timely intervention kept the champions' hopes alive. The climax of the bout featured the Street Profits delivering the Doomsday blockbuster on Prince, leading to the decisive pinfall and ensuring their titles remain intact. So I loved everything about this match. It was really solid. The match definitely reinforced that the Street Profits are definitely the dominant tag team in the division at this moment. But it showcased that Pretty Deadly, in my opinion, after this performance, probably does get the rub at WrestleMania. I think we are doing a multi-man match in some sort of capacity. If we're not gonna go ladder match, I guess let's go elimination style. So we do well again, put 4 teams in there, so 4 corners. So I feel like there's gonna be like some like mini qualifier going into WrestleMania weekend. If we don't go the ladder match route, I'm really thinking we do a fatal 4-way elimination style tag team match. So I feel like it'll be Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, and Pretty Deadly. Because the 5th team is Los Garza, and they'll probably get beat in a qualifying match if they have to have one or whatever it may be. I think that's the only route they go. Let's not get long-winded, so let's get to the next one. The next in-ring action was a tag team match between Kayden Carter and Katana Chance and the duo of Alba Fire and Piper Niven, collectively known as the Secret Hervice. The bout commenced with Katana Chance squaring off against Alba Fire. Early exchanges saw quick tags between Chance and Carter, allowing them to execute coordinated double-team maneuvers that kept Fire on the defensive. The action soon spilled to the outside, where Piper Niven's impactful senton shifted the momentum in the favor of the Secret Hervice as the show went to a commercial break. Upon returning, Kayden Carter mounted a spirited comeback, delivering a series of kicks and a slingshot leg drop that earned a near fall. However, miscommunication between Fire and Niven led to Niven accidentally hitting a senton on her own partner. Despite this setback, Niven managed to regain control by countering an offensive flurry from Carter and Chance. The turning point then arrived when Chelsea Green, present at ringside, provided a timely distraction. This interference allowed Niven to shove Carter into Chance, setting up Carter for Niven's devastating Piper driver, securing the pinfall victory for the Secret Hervice. Following the match, the victorious team continued their assault on Carter and Chance. Zelina Vega then intervened, delivering a satellite DDT to Niven in an attempt to even the odds. However, Chelsea Green's interference proved decisive once more as she attacked Vega from behind. Despite Vega's efforts to counter with her signature Yoshi Tonic, Fire's timely super kick and Niven's subsequent senton left Vega incapacitated, allowing Green and the Secret Hervice to stand tall as the segment concluded. So, the Secret Hervice is such a cool name. Like, that's tough. That's tough. Like, I definitely like that a lot. This tag team match, I was excited to see Carter and Chance finally back on TV. They haven't had a match since like November of last year. And since they've got called up from NXT, I want to say a year or 2 ago, you might have seen them on TV maybe 5 times max. Like, they were a really great tag team down in NXT. I mean, if anything, I could have kept them down there if y'all wasn't going to do nothing with them on the main roster. But at the same time, tag teams really don't get showcased on the main roster for women. Unfortunately, they get passed around, and whoever becomes a new tag champs kind of get relegated to like nothingness, low key. Like, you had Jade and Bianca with him, and they were kind of getting showcased, and then it went Bianca and Naomi, and they kind of fizzled out because the belts wasn't part of the bigger storyline of who attacked Jade Cargill. So now you pass them on to Liv Morgan and Raquel, and they have yet to have a title defense. I'm assuming they have to find some type of competition between now and going into WrestleMania weekend. Because I don't want it to be Friday night right before WrestleMania and they pop up a graphic like, hey, they have a match tomorrow. Like, that would piss me off. Kind of put a story behind it, make it make sense. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next in-ring action was a United States Championships between LA Knight and Braun Strowman. This encounter marked their first singles match for the championship. The bout began with Strowman leveraging his significant strength advantage, overpowering Knight and sending him across the ring. Demonstrating resilience, Knight responded by executing a back suplex onto the formidable Strowman, showcasing his own power and eliciting a strong reaction from the London crowd. As the match progressed, Strowman prepared for his signature Strowman Express maneuver, a running shoulder tag around the ring's perimeter. However, before he could execute, Jacob Fatu intervened, blindsiding Strowman with a flying back elbow, leading to an immediate disqualification. Following the disqualification, Fatu continued his assault on Strowman. LA Knight attempted to intervene, but was met with a pop-up Samoan drop from Fatu, incapacitating the champion on the announce table. Fatu then targeted Strowman with a series of punishing moves, 3 consecutive running hip attacks while Strowman was pointed against the turnbuckle, followed by 2 top rope moonsaults. This relentless onslaught left both Knight and Strowman incapacitated in the ring. And my, Jacob Fatu is on the loose. And he's looking for gold. And man, this was beautifully executed. I think we're going to run either one more match between Strowman and Fatu, or this is the match for WrestleMania, a triple threat for the United States Championship. And that way, unfortunately, Knight is only holding the belt for a couple weeks, but it's like, you gotta hand it over to him, man. Jacob Fatu is like too over right now. Like he's a superstar to make. And like I said in the previous video, you can't throw him up in there in the main event tier right now because you don't want him to get just not lost but overshadowed. But right here, right now in this mid card, he's running through the mid card right now. You need to put the belt on him to just validate, like, yeah, we in the next couple months after you drop this belt and we shuffle the deck of cards around and all that, like you'll be one of our top superstars for whichever brand, if they get traded around during the draft. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next segment showcased Jimmy Uso getting interviewed by Jackie Redmond regarding his recent confrontation with Gunther on Raw. During the interview, Jimmy confidently stated that he would slap the ring general again, emphasizing his readiness to face Gunther in their upcoming match on Monday. He also expressed support for his brother Jey Uso, predicting that he would defeat Gunther for the championship at WrestleMania 41. This resolve was met with an interruption from The Miz, who dismissed Jimmy as merely the other Uso and belittled the Usos as sidekicks. Miz claimed that if Jimmy had slapped him like he did Gunther, he would still be on the ground. In response, Jimmy feigned a slap, causing Miz to cower, highlighting Miz's hypocrisy. Emboldened, Jimmy declared his intention to approach Nick Aldis to formalize a match against Miz, setting the stage for their upcoming encounter later in the evening. So, like I said, storyline development episode. So this developed a storyline for Jimmy versus Gunther for Monday, and you got a match with The Miz tonight. The only downside to the portion of this segment, I've said this before, double side coin with it. Carmelo Hayes is right there, basically like The Miz's sidekick, but I get where they're going. The Miz is coaching up Melo. I feel like they get into it between now and WrestleMania. This is Carmelo Hayes' first WrestleMania match versus The Miz, which I get. Miz is ultimate professional. He started at WrestleManias. He's ended WrestleManias. He's been in the middle of WrestleManias. So this is the best person right now at this moment for Carmelo Hayes to learn under, to become a true superstar. But we're not doing this with Braun Breaker. We're not doing this with Lila Valkyria. Like, all the other former NXT call-ups are kind of thriving, and my boy Hayes is just but at the same time, he's been on TV. So my thing is, like, if you're on TV every week, you're doing something good. And he's been on TV damn near every week in some sort of capacity. So I don't like it, but I like it because I understand the business as a whole and I see what they're trying to do. But let's not get long with it. Let's get to the next one. A compelling backstage segment unfolded, including Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and Tama Tonga, following Jacob Fatu's disruptive interference in the United States Championship match between LA Knight and Braun Strowman, which resulted in the disqualifications. Tensions within the Bloodline faction became evident. In the backstage area, Solo and Tama Tonga confronted Fatu regarding his actions. Solo reprimanded Jacob for not seeking assistance before intervening in the match. Jacob, undeterred, responded assertively, emphasizing his determination to be the last man standing against Braun Strowman. He declared his intent to bring the United States Championship back to the family with or without their support. This segment effectively highlighted the internal dynamics and escalating tensions within the Bloodline. Jacob Fatu's unwavering resolve and willingness to act independently, even at the risk of causing discord, definitely added depth to his character. Solo Sikoa's admonishment underscored his role as a leader, striving to maintain unity and strategy within the group. The interaction was further enriched by the nuanced performance of all the wrestlers. Jacob Fatu's defiant body language and intense delivery contrasted with Solo Sikoa's measured authority, while Tama Tonga's presence added an additional layer of intrigue to this segment, in my opinion. So when you watch this segment, Jacob Fatu says, I'm either going to do this with or without you. But when he says with or without you, he says with, pointing at Tama Tonga, and without by pointing at Solo. So in the heat of the moment when you're watching the show, you don't see these things. But me, as such a diehard wrestling fan, even while I'm watching it live, I'm analyzing what's going on. So y'all can break down the nuances of the characters. And every time there's been a Solo and Jacob interaction, Tama Tonga always at the end looks at Solo like awkwardly, like, you don't know, you like on borrowed time, basically, like you getting got. So I think it'll be Jacob and Tama breaking off, and we're gonna have the Jacob Solo feud. I don't know if we do it at WrestleMania. I don't know where because the LA Knight thing is still going on too. So that's why I'm kind of conflicted, because it's like, all right, I do want to see Jacob Solo at WrestleMania, but then I would like to see, I would like to see Jacob Fatu win the belt at WrestleMania as well. So it's like a double-edged sword. And double duty for like a mid-card feud is kind of crazy, but why not? But I don't book the show. Don't get to listening to me. This is just my speculations. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next segment was Naomi delivering a compelling promo that shed light on her recent actions and strained relationships with fellow WWE superstars Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. The segment began with Naomi addressing the audience, expressing her frustrations over being perceived negatively despite her sacrifices. She questioned Bianca Belair's alliance with Jade Cargill, highlighting her own contributions and feelings of being overshadowed. Naomi's emotional appeal emphasized her dedication and the pain of being overlooked. So, man, this segment was beautiful because Naomi was, asking Bianca basically like, how did she come in and take my spot? And it was like, who even made you want to become a wrestler? Which was Naomi. Like, Naomi was the only black woman in WWE for a brick, like at a high level in WWE. Like, it was her, it was Mercedes Moné, but it was really Naomi at one point because Naomi was on SmackDown. On Raw, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, her character was getting cooked over there on Raw, unfortunately. Like, she would get put in the big main events and always lose and stuff like that. On the other side, on SmackDown, Naomi was kind of getting a better push than her, in my personal opinion. But yeah, like, Naomi was the one, like, that Bianca says this in interviews and all that. Like, Naomi is the reason she even became a professional wrestler. Like, she looked at her like, hey, this is a, black woman that's talented like myself. They formed a bond, became best friends, things like that. And then Jade came from AEW. And basically, like, you pushed me to the side for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you supposed to be my dog. Like, so I love everything about it. It breaks down to a human level. With how Naomi feels and what she did. Yeah, it's a little bit of jealousy as well, but it's just it's human nature at the end of the day. So really great segment, really beautiful work from Naomi. I think Naomi is about to do some of her best character work in her entire career as a heel because she's really sinking her teeth into this, and I'm enjoying this thoroughly. I personally, this should co-main event night one, maybe. You know how WWE get, we got a triple main event, like, but the main event's the main event. We could triple main event it. We could have Naomi and Jade be the third to last match. We have Gunther versus Jay be the second and last match. Then we had a triple threat be the last match to main event night one. That's how I would book it. I don't know how the cards are going to fall. We will see as we build to WrestleMania. But with that being said, let's get to the next one. So the next segment was Jade Cargill backstage meeting with Nick Aldis inquiring about Naomi's whereabouts. Aldis mentioned no one had seen Naomi. Jade avowed that upon finding Naomi that it would be on site. She then encountered B-Fab and Michin, who offered their support, sharing their grievances about Charlotte Flair. Jade acknowledged their sentiments and wished them luck. So this is just going to build to right after this, which will be the Michin versus Charlotte Flair match. The last segment, this segment, the next segment, all combined together. So it's beautiful. It was beautiful layering of how everything is just combined and intertwined together. Like, if you're a casual WWE fan, you won't understand it, but you don't get how everything is layered during the course of a show. So these two segments and this next match flow together so smoothly, and they just build around this overarching storyline. Like, that's the thing I love about WWE right now. People can be in one storyline, but then it can overarch into another storyline. And it's not like, why are they doing this? It all makes sense when they're intertwining everything together. So I really love that part about WWE now. It's basically just like, I don't want to call everything cinema, but you have to sit back, relax, watch it cook, and you can put the pieces of the puzzle together yourself, or you can get on Twitter and find you some Twitter nerds like I am and figure this shit out that way. But with that being said, let's not get long with it. Let's get into the next one. So the next in-ring action was Charlotte Flair facing Michin in a singles match that showcased both women's resilience and determination. Pre-match, Naomi attacked Mia Yim from behind, laying her out, and subsequently targeting B-Fab by throwing her into the barricade. Jade Cargill made a timely entrance, confronting Naomi and forcing her to retreat. This intervention positioned Jade as a protector of her peers and added complexity to the ongoing storyline between them. B-Fab had to get sent to the back, so Mia Yim was basically out there by herself after already getting beat up by Naomi. So, despite the ambush, Michin entered the ring ready to compete. She executed a powerbomb to Flair, earning a 2 count. Moments later, she executed her finisher, Eat Defeat, but Flair managed to place her foot on the bottom rope, breaking the count. On the outside, Flair dodged a kick, causing Michin to crash into the steel steps. This mishap allowed Flair to regain control of the match. And finally, back in the ring, Flair delivered a knee drop and transitioned into the figure 8 leg lock, forcing Michin to submit. So, you knew this was going to be quick after Naomi beat up Michin right beforehand. Like I said in the previous portion of the video, basically this segment and the last 2 segments all intertwined together, and then this match intertwines to the next segment right after this. So like I said, it's really nice flow, really nice cohesiveness of everything going together right here. And like I said, great showcase of women's talent. Like I say, NXT is the home of women's wrestling, but you know, WrestleMania season, we're getting a good portion of women's wrestling every week between all the shows as well, or women's storylines. So they're definitely more prominent versus what I've seen watching the WrestleManias. Shameless plug, go tap into the 40 years of WrestleMania with TWV series. Because back then in these first 22 that I've watched, there's only maybe one women's match on there, and they're very lackluster because unfortunately, I don't think a women's match so far has got over 10 minutes, and you know it was quick and gimmicky, and you know it kind of stunk. But now in the last 10, 12 years, women's wrestling has elevated to another level. Something I'm very appreciative of, a huge fan of. Like I have several women's like wrestling match t-shirts because I love the matches so much. Like I was like, man, I gotta get the t-shirt. But let's not get long-winded. With that being said, let's get into the next one. The next segment showcased the reigning WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton delivering a compelling backstage interview that further intensified her upcoming WrestleMania 41 bout against Charlotte Flair. In this segment, Stratton addressed Flair's recent criticisms and laid out the stakes of their impending match. Stratton began by acknowledging Flair's penchant for self-promotion, stating that Flair loves to hear herself talk. She reflected on their previous exchange, emphasizing that walking into WrestleMania, the pressure is squarely on Flair. A loss for Stratton would mean falling to a legend like Flair after less than a year on SmackDown. In contrast, a loss for Flair would be to a delusional, backflipping little girl, as Flair once described her. Expressing unwavering confidence, Stratton declared that when the announcers proclaimed "and still," it would serve as a moment of silence for Flair's massive ego. She vowed to ensure that Flair's ego remains in Las Vegas, walking out of WrestleMania as a WWE Women's Champion. So, short and sweet, straight to the point, furthering the storyline for their match for WrestleMania. Sooner or later, they're going to have a contract signing. I guess we'll find out when that'll be because they're doing contract signings for all the damn matches. Even triple threats, like just random triple threats. Like I thought only title matches had contract signings, or unsanctioned matches. But hey, who am I? But like I said, storyline development, not too much to say here. We're just building toward that WrestleMania match. So with that being said, let's get to the next one. The next in-ring action was Randy Orton facing Drew McIntyre in a highly anticipated match that showcased both superstars, story, rivalry, and set the stage for future WrestleMania developments. The bout commenced with both competitors exchanging traditional wrestling maneuvers, including a collar and elbow tie-up and chain wrestling sequences. Orton gained an early advantage with a shoulder block and mounted punches in the corner. The action spilled outside where Orton executed a back suplex onto the announce desk, intensifying the contest. Back from the commercial break, McIntyre showcased his resilience with a snap scoop power slam. Orton responded with his signature hanging DDT, bringing the crowd to his feet. As Orton set up for the RKO, Kevin Owens' unexpected appearance at ringside distracted him. Seizing the opportunity, McIntyre delivered a Claymore kick to secure the pinfall victory. Post-match, Kevin Owens attempted to attack Orton, but Orton countered, slamming Owens onto the announce desk. Orton then lined up for his signature punt kick, but Owens evaded and retreated through the crowd, leaving Orton seething in the ring. So this was a great match. Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton had a great feud back in the pandemic days when McIntyre won the belt. It was really good. They passed the belt back and forth a little bit during that feud. I think Randy had beat him in I don't know if he beat him in Hell in a Cell or ambulance match. But then basically the next pay-per-view, Drew McIntyre got it back. It was like a hot shot booking thing to get Randy Orton from a 13-time champion to a 14-time champion. And no better time during the pandemic where you could get away with little dumb things like that. But 40 storyline development, man. When Randy Orton punk kicks Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, that place is going to lose it. But also Drew McIntyre is a piece of shit because he's always complaining about how everybody gets over on him, and he doing the same thing. So, just in his character work, you're contradicting yourself, buddy. But hey, who am I? I loved everything about this. With that being said, let's get to the next one. Next in-ring action was Jimmy Uso and The Miz reigniting their decade-old rivalry in a compelling singles match. So the match was decent. It overstayed its welcome, in my opinion. It should have been more short and sweet and to the point, since we are trying to build Jimmy Uso up. They kind of went 50-50 on the match. Like, Jimmy was taking a lot of The Miz's offense, and The Miz was taking a lot of Jimmy's offense. I would have preferred it to be a little bit 70-30, because you can't have Jimmy go in there off of 50-50 booking, in my opinion. He should have looked strong going into the match against Gunther on Monday, because he's going to get obliterated on Monday. But you know how this ends. Jimmy Uso hit The Miz with a super kick, hit the splash, pinned him for the win, and then afterwards, he grabbed a commentary headset and issued a bold claim toward Gunther for their upcoming match on Monday. He confidently stated he was going to bust Gunther down to Private Gunther and make him salute Big Jim, definitely signaling that he is ready to take the ring general down a peg or two. So I definitely like that. It was really cool. But like I said, this match was short and sweet, straight to the point. Not short and sweet, but kind of overstayed the welcome a little bit. Didn't like the 50-50 booking. So this is a 2. If we were going to grade it on a 1 to 5, it was a 2. It stunk. Low key. It was, like I said, a storyline build, but let's not get long with it. With that being said, let's get to the next one. The next segment was a backstage altercation between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, escalating tensions ahead of their anticipated WrestleMania 41 showdown. The segment began with Drew McIntyre conversing with musician Louis Capaldi backstage, planning to visit a local pub post-show. Their interaction was interrupted when interview Jackie Redmond approached McIntyre for comments about his previous match. Before McIntyre could respond, Damian Priest appeared, initiating a physical confrontation. Priest assaulted McIntyre, slamming him into a car, and then chokeslamming the driver into a nearby table. The brawl continued onto the car hood, where Priest delivered a chokeslam onto the windshield, leaving McIntyre prone amidst scattered glass. CM Punk passed by, chuckling at the scene and adding a layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama. So, like I said, Priest and McIntyre hate each other, so I love everything about their feud. Definitely is going to be a fun match because they both can go in the ring. Like, Damian Priest is so over. Drew McIntyre did a lot of his best work during that pandemic that gets underappreciated, but this last year and a half, Drew McIntyre has been out of this world with his work within the WWE. Like, the promos, the character, the nuances, the social media, just furthering storylines through social media and just talking shit. Like, Drew McIntyre is hater of the year for last year and could be in the running for it this year. And he's definitely, if we're not going to go Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre's definitely been the MVP of the WWE the last year and a half as well. So, got to give him his flowers. Been a Drew McIntyre fan forever. Since he was the chosen one back in 2007, 2008, when he used to come to the ring with a kilt, when Broken Dreams was his theme song, when Vince McMahon personally went out there and declared that he was the chosen one. I think Vince McMahon had a tan suit on that day. I remember watching that episode of Smackdown on a fatback TV in my parents' kitchen. Like, that's how long I've been locked into this wrestling shit. But that's not the point. With that being said, let's not get long-winded. Let's get to the next one. The main event of the evening was the high-stakes contract signing segment for the triple threat match at WrestleMania 41, featuring Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. The ring was set with a table, 3 chairs, and a contract. As SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis introduced the wrestlers, Roman Reigns made a grand entrance acknowledging the London crowd with his signature acknowledge me phrase. He took his seat at the head of the table with Paul Heyman by his side. Roman Reigns emphasized his pivotal role in WWE's success, claiming credit for making the company what it is today. Seth Rollins entered next, noting that their shared history in London, including memorable moments like putting Undertaker through a table and landing on the top of the arena in a helicopter, going back to the Shield days. He criticized Reigns for not recognizing the looming threat of CM Punk, suggesting that Reigns' past actions that led to the current predicament. Rollins signed a contract expressing his readiness for the upcoming battle. CM Punk arrived last, humorously stating that he was here to chew bubblegum and sign contracts, a nod to the classic They Live movie line. He reviewed the contract with Heyman, assuring him that main eventing WrestleMania was indeed part of the deal. Punk, kind of took a glance around the crowd, soaked it all in, reflected on his journey, and thanked the fans. And he acknowledged Roman Reigns for facilitating this, for allowing him to main event WrestleMania. It was really funny. He was like, "Thank you, my tribal chief. Thank you, the holder of the Ula Fala. Thank you for the head of the table." Then he was like, "Thank you, the big dog." And man, you can see Roman Reigns like, "Oh, this mother," you know what I'm saying? It was funny. And to end the show, Roman Reigns is thinking like, CM Punk's favorite was the main event, and he all excited that Punk signed a contract and all that. And to end the show, Punk grabs the mic and said, "But this isn't the favor that I'm owed." And boom, the show's over. So it leaves you on the cliffhanger. And I love this so much because I keep telling y'all every week since Punk keeps popping back up on TV. It's getting told on commentary. Punk's bringing it up. And oh my, let's get crazy with the speculations, bruh. I think the favor is going to pop up the day before. We're going to have either that Monday Night Raw or that Friday Night Smackdown right before WrestleMania weekend. And that's when the favor gets announced. And it's basically whoever wins that match is the number one contender. I don't think they turned the Cena Cody thing into a triple threat, because that would be dumb. I'm sorry, as fuck. Because come on, it's Superman versus Batman at this point between them two. But like, yeah, go Superman, Batman. I'm not a Marvel fan, but I think it was a Marvel movie where Superman and Batman was beefing with each other and fighting each other. So we can go with that parallel. But I think this will be like whoever wins the triple threat is guaranteed the automatic number one contender for the Undisputed Championship post WrestleMania, which would mean they will fight each other in the main event of Backlash. Possibly. I don't know. That's what I would kind of do. But then I'm like, man, that's only a 1 month build to that match. But hey, who am I? But let's not get long-winded. Like I said, this episode of SmackDown was just storyline advancement. It wasn't too spectacular. You can kind of really just watch the highlights personally to kind of get the grasp of what went on yesterday. Or you can just watch this video, of course. You're probably already watching this video, so you already got the rundown. So with that being said, it's your boy TWV, checking in and checking out. I'll catch you later on this evening for the next edition of 40 Years of WrestleMania with TWV. Peace.